And it was
There we go.
then that I figured out that we were all naked.
Wow, I do not remember it that way at all. Um,
Hey, folks, how's it going?
I don't know why I took a sip right away when I'm supposed to be talking.
That's
Hey,
that's a good question. I was kind of hanging. I was waiting for you to do your other side of the introduction because obviously
yeah.
it's scripted.
Well, you know me. My timing is not the greatest, but that's all right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Dan. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not too much. Recovering from a couple of weird weeks, and my family is on vacation this week, and I am home alone with our very very old dog who does not like it when I go upstairs and leave him down here by himself. Hence me doing the show from my downstairs couch. And let's see, I have been crazy busy lately. Omar and I went to TFCon in Canada 2 weekends ago.
Nice.
I brought
How was
back
that?
COVID,
Oh,
and so I've been getting over that, and it's just been an exciting time.
yeah. Ugh. Okay, TFCon. Wait. Okay, so first of all, I want to ask about that. But before I ask about that, you're in this room. The real question is, are there any Transformers in this room?
Well, I mean, not normally. However, there happens to be one right now because it came today and I just opened it. So
Oh, nice.
this is the last of the Dinobots. Swoop. He's just been released. So we now have modern giant versions of all the Dinobots, which is great. So
That is, yeah, that's
and San Diego Comic Con's going on right now, so all sorts of announcements and whatnot coming out. You're like, oh, that's why my YouTube has had so many things in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I have seen that. Is there anything that you're expecting or awaiting
Well, I
that
mean,
might get announced there?
Hasbro announced some things that we all figured were coming, like yet another repaint of the original Optimus, or re-release of the original Optimus Prime toy, but this time like with a different paint job, and it's just like, and then they're putting out some. They put a set of small Dinobots over the last 3 years that we all knew were going to get repainted into Dino King, and they announced that, which I realize doesn't mean anything, but it's the we know this is coming. It's just when, because why else would they be doing this the way they are?
Gotcha.
And then the new trailer for Transformers 1 came out today, which this is the serious trailer, and actually the movie's getting some pretty good press, so that's good.
Transformers 1? Oh, I didn't realize that was the name. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see about that. James, we did not get pulled over on the way back from TFCon, which is good, because we had all sorts of contraband Transformers in the car, though the the customs agent in Detroit, obviously it's bad enough when you got two grown men and Omar's daughter Lydia was with us. He's like, why were you in Canada? We went to the Transformers convention. Okay, what do you got in your truck? A bunch of toys and 6 beers. Right. All right, I'm gonna look in your trunk. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. This guy was not very, I mean, obviously it's not their job to be polite, but yeah, he inspected our trunk full of Transformers, and then he's like, any of that, you taking back any of that stuff to sell on eBay? I was like, not planning to. What about Mercari? You selling it on Mercari? They're like, no.
Wow.
But little did he know I was intending to sell it on Mercari. Yeah. Wait, so that was pretty much it. I mean,
how long ago was this? Have you hit the statute of limitations?
This was 2 weekends ago.
Oh shit! Oh no! No. That you were going to sell this thing, that they asked you about that.
Oh no, I wasn't really. I was just
I know. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure you weren't going to get busted.
Wait, I see. You're looking for me to admit a felony on a
Yes.
recording.
See,
Yes. Lawyer kicked in after a minute.
yeah, I noticed. Lawyer Dan jumped in quick.
I know.
I was like, all right, I'm not going to mess with this.
Yeah. Well, let this be a lesson to our viewers looking for free legal advice. While every lawyer will tell you don't talk to cops when they stop you, just because you can never improve your situation by saying anything, you have to talk to the border agents because you have no rights at the border. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
you have to do what they say. If they want your phone, you have to give them your phone. I mean, it's to use the phrase that I think George Washington would have said if he was aware of the state of our border. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
So, and that's on the Canadian border, where again, they're much more concerned with you bringing fruit into the country than weapons or drugs. So,
well, that's on the Canadian border coming back into the U.S. though, right?
Yeah, coming back into the U.S.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, once again, my favorite thing about the Canada-U.S. exchange is going into Canada. Do you have any guns? Coming out of Canada, do you have any fruit?
You're right.
So
I
didn't tell you about the bag full of chocolate bars.
Right. I had a very similar experience when we went to Montreal and Toronto 2 years ago. We drove, and going in, piece of cake. Literally, the only hassle the Canadian guard gave me was he looks at our IDs and says, "Oh, you're from Kentucky? Where's your accent?" And that was it. Super nice, lovely guy.
Yeah. Going into Canada at Niagara Falls, the customs agent was very, very Russian, and the car behind us, we pulled up, and then the car behind us proceeded to pull up behind us. He jumped out of the booth and started screaming at the car behind us, "You stop the stop sign! You back up!" And it was like, we're like, yeah, we're going to the Transformers convention. Please don't shoot us. We're scared. Yeah, it was very exciting.
Dude, so, I remember on the way back when this was 2 years ago, we were coming back, and we were actually hanging out in Toronto when Sarah started to feel sick, and I wasn't feeling super great. And we had taken at-home COVID tests the night before. They were negative, but we were just both like, something's not right. And we're just like, you know what? Let's just go on home. We start driving home, and by the time we get to the border, luckily we had borrowed my brother-in-law's van that he has like rigged out with a full bed and everything with it, right? That's what we were sleeping in as we were traveling on this road trip. On the way, by the time we got to the border, Sarah's delirious. She is like half passed out in the back seat. In retrospect, I should have just stopped at a hospital by then. I probably shouldn't have insisted to drive all the way home to Kentucky with her in that condition. But at the time, it seemed like the right thing to do. But I remember getting to the border and was just like, and this guy is just like, yeah, I'm going to need to look through your van and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, this is maybe not what it appears to be, sir. I promise I have not drugged up this woman and am hiding her in the back of my van. She's my wife. She's sick. I was beginning to wonder if we were going to get stopped for good. Luckily, I think he was all about like thinking I was suspicious until I said, yeah, we're pretty sure she has COVID. And then he was just like, okay, just get out of here. Yeah.
So, yeah. It was an interesting trip. We met up with one of Omar's friends that he met through the channel, had dinner with him. And
wait, was that Alex?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Project Viking.
And just had a good time. I mean, the show was a little disappointing-ish in that, it was a little weird because I do one of these a year generally. But this year, because we had nothing going on the weekend of BotCon, I drove up to BotCon too in Fort Wayne, which was 2 weekends before TFCon. And the contrast in the dealer rooms was was pretty interesting in that the TFCon dealer room was a lot of new stuff and less older stuff than I'm used to. And granted, obviously the exchange rate with Canada, makes everything seem more expensive than it is. And then you realize, wait a minute, a lot of these people haven't really adjusted their prices from the US. These people coming up and it's like, oh, this thing for $80 is also $80 at stateside shows. It's like, so I'm getting a bargain.
Right.
So let's talk them down from there. But so, we got some interesting things, but I think, I don't think either of us found any oh, this was definitely worth driving 10 hours to come to this show type of things. So, but we had a good time.
That's a bummer.
I had no poutine. Well, yeah, I mean, again, started feeling not so good. And
right.
I did, however, get lost on a run and then came back.
Nice.
Couldn't eat breakfast because I was just too hot and couldn't breathe or talk. It was very exciting.
Dang. All right. I got to pause here for a second because I realized I haven't said hi to everybody. Hey, everybody in the chat. We got James here. Let's see. I'm scrolling down the list. We got Josh here.
Howdy.
Hey, Josh. News Pooey's here. There's some comments that I've skipped here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I should have just showed your video collection for sure. Yes.
No, sir. Let me show you how I am too legit to quit, sir.
Oh my gosh. If you had broken out an MC Hammer quote like that and I was there, I would just not have been able to keep a straight face. Hey, Mark.
Well, next time I go to Canada, you're coming with me. Hopefully we can not bring COVID back.
Yeah, hopefully so. I'm actually going in September. My work retreat is going to be in Montreal, so I'll try to make up for the poutine quota.
Yeah, we were in Mississauga. I might be adding an extra syllable there, which is outside of Toronto, because I was kind of thinking that Omar and I would do it the same way we did the last TFCon we went to in Baltimore, where we went for the morning and get kind of bored, and then the Baltimore Comic-Con was at the next convention center over, so we went there. And I was kind of thinking, we just go hit Toronto, but Toronto was 15 miles away. So
I see it. No, I think you said it right. Well, Mississauga. It's 4 syllables.
Okay. I keep thinking maybe I'm transposing Mississippi on top of Canada, so
What? An American do something like that? Never. Dan, I was hoping Maddie was here. She is right, though. The Steam Deck is amazing, and Baldur's Gate is one of the best games I've ever played.
Okay, but have you played Baldur's Gate 2? I mean, in terms of best games you've ever played, Baldur's Gate 2 is where it's at. He says. Not yet having played Baldur's Gate 3 because I still can't get it to download on Steam for Mac because it's a piece of garbage. And yes, I would buy a Steam Deck, but for it's $50. My money goes elsewhere.
Those add up. Yeah. I can't speak so much for games, although I have been thinking lately. I can't remember if I talked about this on the last live stream or not. Looking at getting into, you all know me, I don't play a lot of video games, and I don't have a gaming PC, but oh my god, now I've forgotten the name of the game. There's a game, somebody help me in the chat. There's a game out there that is out in space, and I believe the newest version of it, what'd you say?
Doom,
yeah. The newest version of it, like the add-on or whatever, is fully immersive VR. And one of my coworkers, basically this came up one day when I was talking to my coworker, and I said, yeah, my lifelong dream is to go out into space, to actually go into space. And then we continued to discuss how my wife is never going to allow me to do that as long as she's alive, because that's pretty scary. And so he said, well, the next best thing is get yourself a really good VR set and play this particular game whose name is completely escaping me. It's not No Man's Sky. Good question, or good guess. No, shoot. I'll think of it in a minute. I'll see if I can pull up the chat for a minute. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because then I started to look into it because I was getting all excited about that. He was describing how it works and everything, and then I realized I have not only do I not have a VR headset, but I don't even have a machine to play it on. So, Steam
Well,
on Mac, not even close to
I
what this
mean,
thing is.
Andrew, obviously you can fix that. He
Clearly,
said,
it is
being the
Super
one who
Mario
just
Bros.
said, I don't want to spend much money. If you were to do that, though, if you were to try to do like space simulation through VR, would you have to do it in a walk-in freezer? So like
Oh,
playing too long,
oh.
simulate space.
Well, I mean, if I have a good suit on, then theoretically that's not a problem. But
Right.
I
But
see
if there's a problem with the suit,
I see your point, Dan.
see?
Dang it. Yeah,
I mean, you got to tell Sarah that yes, I won't go into real space, but I do have to accept some risk.
right. Exactly. Yeah. If I'm not going into space, then I'm bringing the elements to the house.
Right. Then I'm going to make it as hostile to myself as I possibly can.
Let me see if I can find this thing real quick. I am in my work Slack seeing if I can find a reference to this game. Oh, it's going to kill me if I can't think of it. Oh gosh, I'm not going to find it right away. No, it's not popping up. All right, I'll keep thinking about it. And everybody keep chatting or keep guessing. We were just talking about Transformers 1. Although Dan, I don't know that you actually gave your like feelings about it. What do you think
Well,
into it?
let's say this. I have very low hopes for any Transformers media at this point that is a visual medium because, well, Hasbro and all the companies that are making visual content just keep lowering the bar. But I mean, it's a fully animated film. The trailer that they released today is the serious trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just all jokes and screwing around trailer. And a movie that has some jokes and some screwing around, I could deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'm as far as movies go, it's one that I don't know that I would see in the theaters, but like it's one that I might pay to watch at home. I might be convinced otherwise, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could be great. I hope it's great. I mean, I every time I hope it's great. Every time I'm a little disappointed, but that's okay.
I was just about to say, I've lost track. I've forgotten. Have you ended up watching every single one of them, or have there been any that you just completely?
Oh, are we like the Michael Bay movies?
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched all of them. I think The Last Night is the only one that I haven't broken down and watched, and then I haven't watched the new one, The Rise of the Beast.
Gotcha.
But again, it's one of those where it's like just gotta build up the tolerance until you can just sit down and do it, or get drunk enough to watch it. So
that's true. We could always make that a party.
Yeah, Newspooey. Yeah, Rise of the Beast isn't horrible. It's sad when that's like praise for a Transformers film. That's kind of like Bumblebee. It's not terrible. It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah,
actually kind of fun is the highest praise.
Is that the subtitle?
Yeah. So
nice. StarCraft 2. Wow, no. Okay, changing topics again. I was able to finally look the game up, but everybody's having fun guessing, so I don't know if I should actually tell the answer now.
You should tell.
I should tell? All right.
Is it X-Wing versus TIE Fighter?
No, but that's a good game. No, it is Elite Dangerous. Yeah.
I like that name.
Right.
That's the name I want to sign up for the Green Berets under.
Right. That's your battle name.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for playing. Fun game. Some of these others I haven't played either. Anyway, I don't remember how we got on that topic. Talking about games. Oh, you were talking about Steve.
You said you couldn't go to space.
I can't go to space. I want to go to space. Help me go to space, folks. How can I? All right, we have a lawyer on camera. We have some great minds in the chat. Y'all help me figure out how can I convince my wife that it's okay to go to space. Let alone let's gloss past the fact that it's like super expensive, and I'm sure there's a long list, and it's probably never going to be realistically possible anyway. But
you know what though? I hear there is a community college in Colorado that has a class on ladders.
Okay. All right.
That's my deep cut community reference for
oh wow, yes.
You could just put together enough ladders to get to space.
Nice. All right. Yep.
Build your own space elevator with ladders.
It's safer than going to the Titanic. There you go. All right.
Well, I guess percentage wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people have gone to the Titanic? There's got to be more than just James Cameron and the people who got crushed.
Yeah. I don't know, but we don't hear about them, Dan. Anyway.
Yeah.
What else is new? Let's see. What's up? Oh, I got fun news to share. I don't think I shared this last time. I think we were almost leading up to it. Did I get my timing right? The last time we did a live stream, did we talk about the Trek Zone Star Trek Fan Film Awards?
We've talked about it, but I don't know if I think it might have still been in voting when the last live stream.
That's what I was thinking, and I am too lazy to look on my calendar to find out when we streamed. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that we the last time we streamed was right before that. So I'm very happy and proud to say that we took home a couple of awards. First of all, my wife got Best Actress for her performance in so we made two short films last year. And the first one is called Empyrean, and she had like a starring role in that one. And she got Best Actress for it, which is pretty awesome. I'm super excited about that. And then also that same film ended up taking Best Short Film under 10 minutes. They did an under 10 minutes and over 10 minutes category. Ooh, were we the under or at 10 minutes? I don't know. This is really important. I got to find out. But anyway, yeah. So I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And then the kind of like overall production house that we're under, that our particular show is under, is called Potemkin Pictures. And other shows under Potemkin Pictures Potemkin Pictures itself took home the best production house for 3 years in a row. This is the place where I've probably talked about this before, where like it's this guy in Lexington here that in his basement he has built out all these different Star Trek sets. So we have like a full-fledged starship bridge, we have a sick bay, transporter room, several others.
You know what drives me nuts about that? The same thing that drives me nuts about like going to yard sales. And I'll explain.
Okay.
In the sense that like you're just driving around the neighborhood, all these houses look pretty normal, but you never know who's got a basement full of Star Wars or Star Trek sets, or a room full of toys, or closets full of comics, or things like that, right? All these normal people in their normal houses.
Are they?
Not that I would break into those houses and do anything. I just would like to know. I think there should be a sign that we by which we identify ourselves to, like hobo code.
Oh yeah.
Drive by and like, it's like, oh yeah, they got some Star Trek sets.
They got a lot of good things in there.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do anything nefarious with that information,
right?
But they got a lot of good things.
Would like to know each other.
Yeah,
and like if there's a fire, you go help.
Oh, so it's
help your other neighbors.
Oh, so that's what you do. It's like the stickers that you put on your front door if you've got like a pet inside or something like that. Please break the door down.
Well, like, because again, you don't want to encourage people to break into your house to steal your stuff. So it's got to be like a code that only people with good intentions would understand.
Well, that's right. That's why you put the sticker right next to the sticker that says, "I have a really, really big, ferocious dog inside. Please free him if there's a fire, but
I
otherwise you
find
probably want to stay
I
away.
find that the big ferocious dog is better than the sticker advertising the big ferocious dog.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's a good point. No one knows about the hundreds of VHS tapes packed away in my garage, and no one ever will.
I assume that people are going to be tearing down houses 50 years from now and just have VHS tapes falling out of the walls.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
I was just speaking of VHS tapes, I was just telling a coworker yesterday about this. All started from the fact that for some strange reason I had Milli Vanilli's Blame It on the Rain stuck in my head. And this particular coworker, we love talking about music. So I figured he would appreciate that. Yeah. And so he did appreciate that. And then I proceeded to tell him about how in the 8th grade, Omar and I, for a skit okay, this is really harkening back. Okay. So there was a little show back in the late 80s, early 90s called In Living Color.
In the 90s.
It was 90s, right? Yeah. And one of the skits they did was the do-it-yourself Milli Vanilli kit. And Omar and I did a parody of that for our like 8th grade graduation kind of like program that we put on. All the kids put on like little skits for the parents. I'm sure the parents had no clue what the hell we were talking about, but we basically parodied that skit, but we added on to it because this happened right after the whole lip syncing scandal came out about Milli Vanilli. So we kind of like tweaked the skit a little bit to show that off. And then our mutual friend, Matt Thompson at the end came out and kind of stole the show. So yeah. And the reason I bring it up is because it was all recorded by somebody. And I used to have that VHS tape and I do not know where it is now.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, probably for good reason.
How could it be possible that I haven't seen that?
I don't know. I mean, you went to that school after all, Dan.
No, I didn't, but
no, I know. Everybody
but still, you shared with me your CNC Music Factory remix. I figure you would have shared with me your Milli Vanilli skit.
Now listen, that CNC Music Factory remix tape was no joke.
It was no joke. It was literally like, all right. So let me set the scene. Andrew and I have met in high school because he went to Catholic school and I moved to Frankfurt more or less during the summer. And so, as the only people who didn't know anybody, we became friends, as you do. And like first time I go over to Andrew's house, he's like, all right, check this shit out. And he just hits play. And all of a sudden it's like this just incredible, like remix of what song was it?
It was Everybody Dance.
Everybody Dance.
It was Everybody Dance Now. And
it was the CNC Music Factory song.
Rock and roll. Yeah.
And like, I was like, how did you do that? And he's like, he's like, I sit here and I press play and pause at the right time. And it's like, holy shit, this guy's nuts. But it's nuts in a way that I understand and can identify with. Right? So, yeah.
That's truly when Near Mint was born right there. Yeah.
Oh God. Are you sure it wasn't when we got together with Omar and Matt and started making movies? Because that would have been like the following weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what you described is more like origin story kind of stuff. Yeah, that truly the first issue would have been when we all got together and started making stupid movies in high school.
Number 0, if you will.
Yes, issue number 0, in fact, yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's another thing I wish I had. Man, y'all are making me wish I had all this magnetic tape now. These VHS tapes, these cassette tapes with my remixes on them. I burnt out. True story. I completely burnt out the motors in my dual cassette tape deck from making all those stupid remixes. Because you're right, it was just tons of like stop, rewind, play, record, blah.
Stupid. They were incredible.
Oh, they were incredible.
I kid you not. Like I was every bit of actually blown away by this stuff. It was not like, oh, that's cool. No, it was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
That's fun, man. So, wow, that's a good memory. Good memories. I can't find a way to do it now while I'm in this call, but there's a way that I can set like a subtitle on my name, and I really want this to be my subtitle now. But I think I have to like leave and jump back in to do it. Edit. Yeah, I can't find any way to do it in StreamYard. So I have to remember for next time. Wait, I'll take a screenshot right now. There we go. This will not be forgotten. Screenshotted. There we go.
Really?
20 years ago.
I guess they're hard to get.
You couldn't give away a blank VHS tape for 99 cents. Now they are money. Oh yeah, I've heard about this. I've never actually like gone and looked, but yeah, because you can't find them anywhere. Now, what you would do with them, I don't really know, but I guess somebody can do something with them, and that's why they're expensive.
Well, it's funny, right? I mean, like
audio, I need to hang on to my blank DVDs.
They're also like they're making new audio cassettes again, the same way that they're making new vinyl. But I get new vinyl. I really do. I understand, even though it's not for me, I understand the attraction of it, right? There's a very visceral thing to here's this big piece of plastic that actually I can see the music on it, right? Like if I have a magnifying glass, I look at the grooves, and like when I put the, I don't even know what it's called, the thing on the thing, right? I can watch it travel the grooves through the record and make sound. And like, I have to get up and flip it halfway to like, I get that. Like, if you're the type of person who likes to sit down and listen to music, not while you're, doing other things, but you just sit down and focus. I really get why that's a thing. Needle. Yeah, I wanted to say stylus. I was like, that's completely not
nerd.
But like audio cassettes, magnetic tape, that was always about convenience, not quality. Like when we were actually using it, right? VHS was the best we had, but you would never, like, if you had film or something other than, it was just real inconvenient, right? I mean, my dad had one of those Super 8 cameras when we were little, and we never used it because it was such a pain in the ass compared to a camcorder. But like I just don't get a magnetic tape renaissance, given that it's junk.
Maybe, but that's HD TVHS.
Yeah, your VHS that you could have 2 hours, 4 hours, or 6 hours, or 38 seconds.
You're right. 38 seconds of high. Wait, what was the was it SVHS, right?
SVHS.
You remember that SVHS that we actually shot?
We shot Crime and Punishment too in SVHS.
Yeah, that's right. And that was like, oh God, I remember. Okay, now I got to look up the stats. I remember that. It was high def.
480p, the equivalent of 480p.
It wasn't quite that, because that's what DVD is. Sadly enough, and of course it wasn't the equivalent. Let's see. So okay, VHS looks like it is
6 by 8 pixels.
It depends. It depends on which standard you're going by, but it looks like 525 lines. That's not right. That was like SVHS. All right, I got to figure this out. Wait, lines. 525 lines. I don't think it was that many. Here we go. 250 lines is what a VHS tape would normally play. Now, do they have SVHS on here? Yeah. 400 lines. Yeah. So you went from 250 to 400. I remember that like blowing me away at the time. It really was like looking at the difference between like a DVD and like 4K or something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, and especially when we were editing things down and you lost so much quality with every pass, and like by the time we got to the final thing, we were on like pass 3 for most of these things, if we're lucky.
Yep.
But that was telling you, man. We need to Taylor's version of Crime and Punishment 2.
What version?
I said we need to Taylor's version it. We need to go back and re-record
Oh.
it all, redo it all. It might be harder at Castle and Key than it was at the derelict Old Taylor distillery.
It will definitely be a little more difficult now. Yes.
Yeah, breaking and entering now is something that has consequences.
We're all responsible. Plus, there's no way in hell I'm going into that creek.
Oh yeah, you would have the best part.
Oh gosh, no, I don't want to do that.
Why are you in the hospital? Well, Doc.
Well, let me tell you, we were reliving our
for the awesomest of reasons. If Tom Cruise can do his own stunts, I can too.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I know we've talked about this movie before, but this particular scene, I don't know if we've talked about it. There was a particular scene where we decided it was like the big climactic battle, and my character is invading the enemy fort. And in order to gain access to the enemy fort, he's got to basically like climb his way across this waterfall, across this like rushing river. And what was really funny was that the first day that we shot this is like one of the few scenes that we reshot, right? Remember this? The first time we shot it, yeah, we shot this twice. The first day that we shot it, it was all bright and sunny outside, and there had not been rain for a long time, so this river was not moving very much. And I can't remember why we went back and reshot it. I don't remember if it's because we literally looked at the footage and said, this is boring, or if it was like something else, maybe there was a problem with it. But we had to go back and we decided to reshoot that whole scene. And when we went back, it was only like 4 to 5 days later, but it had like stormed. And when we went, it wasn't storming, but it was cloudy and gloomy. And like the river was just rushing like crazy. It still wasn't enough to like knock me over or anything like that. But I definitely, it was a chore walking across this, like kind of like wading across. I wish I could, I don't think I can bring it up quick enough or bring up a still shot of it. I'm basically like, imagine I'm just kind of like holding on the edge of a waterfall, right? And the water's coming over. There's a place for my feet. It's not like I'm just
it was not a lock, but like a artificial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, there are many things I would go back and do differently with the edit of Crime and Punishment 2 if we were to redo it. Not that we ever will, because it's perfect. But we spent a lot of time on that shot just for the sake of filling out the Mission Impossible theme song.
Yes.
It could have been about 15 seconds shorter.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh yeah. It is way too long of a. I think we took like 3 different shots and we just kept cutting between them all, and it just yeah, it's way too long. But my favorite part about telling that is that then you know, we start showing this. We show it to our English class, which is what the film was for, and then like, I don't know, a few hours later, apparently it got broadcast through the whole school or something like that.
Wait, hang on. Apparently a few hours later, it got broadcast.
Was it?
So apparently a few hours later, we went down and intentionally broadcast it through the whole school at the request of a number of people who had seen it and said, you should
yes.
You should just put this on the school thing. Like, all right, let's do it. It's the last day of school. We don't care.
Why not? Yeah. Oh man, that was fun. But I remember the Mr. Johnson, who still teaches there, by the way, which is bonkers. Who I think he like had a second job, like working as a security guard in a lot of places or something like that. I think at one point he worked there and was telling us all these stories about like how that river is just completely infested with snakes. They used to have like snakes crawling up out of the river onto into the distillery and all this stuff. And I'm just like, my jaw is slowly dropping open, and I'm just, 'cause I hate snakes. And so that's why I'm not going back to do that. It's not because I feel older and I'm just not up to the task. No, it's I cheated death once. I'm not doing it again. No way.
You need to find some 20-year-old who just looks like you and just substitute him in for those shots.
Don't even he doesn't even have to look like me. He has to look reasonably like me. We'll AI deep fake my face onto his. All good. Wait, maybe we can make this whole thing with AI. Maybe we can redo the whole movie with AI. We don't even have to go there.
I'm sorry, I can't be part of that.
That's it. Deleted Dan. We're pulling in AI Dan now.
Oh man. It's actually been AI Dan this whole time. Andrew's just been talking to himself.
That's what I do.
And actually, it's AI Andrew too.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can be bothered to show up for the stream this time, so
Nope.
we just threw our AI avatars on. We've been working so hard on them.
That's right. You can't fail me. My final grades are in.
Oh, this was our final project.
It was
for English 4 AP because we didn't get a grade in English 4 AP because we took the AP test. So,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
That's right.
It was only 100 years ago, Andrew. I mean, seriously. Yeah, we're talking about high school, and I'm moving my daughter into college 2 weeks from now. So,
yeah, how's that going?
It's terrifying.
I would imagine. How far away is she going to be? What is it, like 6, 7, 8 hours? Okay. Yeah, so, that's pretty substantial right there.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very exciting for her.
For her.
Yep. I mean, less exciting for us.
Yeah.
More exciting for her.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what about you? What geeky stuff were you doing while I was in Canada not finding the Transformers that I wanted to find?
Well, actually, I've been shooting more Star Trek stuff. Yeah, so actually, let's see. Can I show it? Okay, hold on.
Wait, I have to carry the whole stream by myself now? I'm not ready.
Just for like 5 seconds.
I'm not ready. What do I do? I am so alone.
Okay.
Alone.
So,
hello, you're back. It was fine. I took care of the whole thing.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So, you were talking about dumping money into toys. I recently kind of dumped money into a lot of camera gear. Well, if I can get that to turn around. Apparently, I dumped money into a camera gear that's not going to do what I want it to do.
I'm waiting for something to explode.
To break, yeah. Okay, so let's see if I can lean back in this.
I'm pretty sure that's just an erector set.
It kind of looks like one, doesn't it? So I have been wanting to upgrade my camera for quite a while now, and because I've been up until now been shooting with like a non 4K camera, which is fine, but it was just like, all right, it's time for me to step it up. And I've been actually like learning. I've never really, let me back up. I've always felt really comfortable with doing like post-production for filmmaking. So like editing, dabbling in special effects, even like making music and sound effects. I feel pretty good with. I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's like a little puzzle to me. I feel really good about.
How can I take shit they shot and make it look good?
It really is that. It's like, yeah, it's like give me materials and I'll make something out. Give me Legos. I mean, I've always talked about this, right? I'm a really good editor. I'm a horrible creator from scratch. Give me Legos. I will make something awesome out of it. Please don't ask me to make Legos. Like, please don't ask me to make Legos. So it's kind of like I've always felt it's a little bit of the equivalent when I'm making a film to like actually go out and shoot the thing. I feel like I've never really had like just I've never really had like a natural talent for it. I kind of understand and can like see things, and I know how some things look good or not, but I've never really felt comfortable like just setting up my shots, like framing a shot and saying, this is what's going to look good. This is how this needs to be. I need to get this particular shot to like convey an emotion or whatever. I've been studying on that stuff lately, and I've been working on it. And so as part of like the impetus to do that was, all right, let me get this new camera that is going to help me translate what I've been learning into something actual. So it's kind of hard to tell because I don't have it broken apart right now, but what really is at the heart of this is this thing right here, which is the Sony FX30. It's the camera I've been waiting for a while now. It's a Sony mirrorless camera that is actually geared towards filming instead of taking stills. So anyway, I bought that, and then I've been wanting to kind of rig it out. Of course, I geek out on all these like video making and filmmaking YouTube channels, and a lot of them really talk about like building out a camera that, for instance, has a monitor on top. So this is key right here, right? You've got your camera might have this little, whatever it is, 1.5, 2-inch monitor, something like that, but you really need something that's like this size to actually see what you're doing. And what happens is that as you start building out this rig, you start to realize, like, I have all these devices all kind of smushed together, and if you're not careful, they all need their own power sources. And so then what you do is you rig it all up so that you can run it all off of one power source, which is this giant honking battery right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It weighs 1.8 pounds or just over 2 pounds, something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's this kind of stuff it's stuff I've been like geeking out on for just a while now on YouTube, watching this stuff, seeing how people put it together, and I finally just saw it. All right, let's take some money and dive into it. So I put it to good use,
by the way.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. DuckTales on. Let's take some money and dive into it.
Let's take some money and dive into it. Yeah, except in this case, it was more like I'm just gonna like take some money and throw it at other people. But like yeah,
a duck can swim through water.
Oh shoot, Dan, you missed your chance. Sorry.
I know.
That's all right. A Dutch angle. You know what? I haven't done a Dutch angle yet, but
Is that a pastry?
It's a really tasty angle. No, it's
that sounds gross.
Oh yeah, it does. All right, let's get away from that one. No, a Dutch angle, that's when you like tilt your camera on the side. It's like think the old Batman show from the 60s.
Oh yeah. To just make it a little bit disorienting. Right?
Yeah, usually, or unless you're Batman from the 60s, in which you're just getting silly comical at that point. But yeah.
Got it.
But yes. Yeah, no, that's a good reminder, actually. I do, that is one of the angles that I've been studying up on, and I haven't really thought of a good natural way to fit one of those in yet, but maybe.
Just imagining you with a protractor.
How tilted does
musical montage with you just examining how a protractor works,
right?
Like, holding it up against things. Anyway,
at what point is it technically a Dutch angle? Like, does it, if you're just like 1 degree off, is that a Dutch angle, or is that just you didn't balance your camera right?
Yeah, that's you didn't look at the bubble.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I've been. So all of that led up to
I'm gonna say 5 degrees.
5 degrees. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds legit.
Slight enough that you might not notice it, but weird enough that your brain would say, "Oh, that's strange," and now I feel like there's something apprehensive or something I should be worried about.
That's like a perfect Dutch angle. All right, you know what? Okay, so I might be able to.
That's what I'm here for, is to arbitrarily decide things on behalf of everybody.
I might see if I can fit this in, because we're shooting. So 2 weekends ago, we shot with this new equipment. We shot half of the next Star Trek fan film that we're doing, and in 2 or 3 more weeks, we're shooting the other half of it. So I've still got some more shots to go. And this particular episode is kind of like a mind-bending, diabolical. We basically take on board this antagonist, and who plays a very kind of Hannibal Lecter. Oh, Dan, something looks fairly normal, but I feel weird right now. I feel like something's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. I don't think I can get mine to do that, because iPhone's just going to like adjust for it. Yeah, I'm totally turning my camera right now.
Well, it was easy to put something under one side.
Nice. I'll see if I can fit it in. We'll see if I'll report back in a month and see if I was successful or not. Tilt it, but aim it slightly upward. Ooh, there you go. Now you've got a powerful Dutch angle.
Again, it sounds so bad. I do have a powerful Dutch angle. I'm so glad you've noticed. I've been waiting for you to comment on it.
I feel like Paramount should just let you all do it for a slight budget.
Or they could let us do it for a large budget.
For a large budget, in fact, yes.
I would love a large budget.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, unfortunately, Josh, not only is there no budget, but you can't even you can't make money off of them. Which I mean, I guess is kind of obvious with fan film properties like this, but CBS and Paramount are very specific about you cannot, we put all our films on YouTube. We cannot monetize any of that stuff. No Patreon. I think at one point we were able to take donations. Like there was some way that we were able to take donations for buying props and things like that. But that's it. Yeah, they're very strict about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a license. It's more, here are the conditions you have to meet so we don't sue you.
Yeah.
We're not actually giving you permission. We're not actually giving you any sort of license, but we have, if you stay within these lines, you have some cold comfort until we just decide that we're going to actually sue you about this.
It is. That's true. Lawyer Dan's kicked back in again.
Yeah, sorry. I can't help it.
No, we might need you. No, I think we're in the clear. It's actually in a way the rules that they've laid out is kind of nice because it really does lay out. And again, of course, they can change it at any time. But the feeling behind the rules that they lay out are basically, all right, we're very strict about these things that you can do or that you can't do. But as long as you meet all these lines, you can do whatever you want with the rest of it.
I mean, have fun. More so than I have to think any, I wonder if Lucasfilm has similar, do they? Do you know?
No, I don't know, but I bet they do. They would have to, right? Like I've never actually looked, but
well, here's the question. I wonder if Lucasfilm had rules about fan content like that, because I'm reasonably certain that Disney would have said no.
True.
There's, we love everyone at Disney. That said, Disney's lawyers aren't necessarily the first people on our Christmas list. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I feel like, again, I've never really looked into the logistics behind it, but I do know from what fan films I have gone out and watched, there are Star Trek fan films and then there are Star Wars fan films. Like the amount and level of quality that I have seen in Star Wars fan films just blows the Star Trek stuff away. It's ridiculous how good it is. And it makes me think as much as out there and as how popular it is, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down as far as I can tell. I guess, I don't know, either people are just throwing caution to the wind and just waiting to see if somebody sues them, or there's actually rules out there that says, yeah, you can do this. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one. I don't know that I've ever seen a really popular one that was somebody playing known characters. That's one of the Star Trek things is you can't play known characters, right? So none of our stuff, all of our shows are their own unique
characters. That's why our Vulcan is called Speck.
Speck. Dr. Speck.
Oh. he has tips on the bottom of his ears.
Oh my gosh, no. I kind of want to do that.
And he's very emotional.
That'd be pretty good. Let's see what we got here. George Lucas was chill on letting people use Star Wars props and stuff. I remember Boba Fett was a central point of a news radio episode. Whoa, I don't remember that. They never thought they'd get approval, but he was fine with it. Huh. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. To the internets. News radio. Wow, that's a show I haven't thought about in a while.
Yeah, and Josh also makes a great point that it's a tough PR move to go after fan stuff. And I, jumping in with my lawyer hat, I understand they do have to do it sometimes. There are things that go too far and they have to defend their intellectual property, or there are consequences if they don't. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's one of the weird things where the tools that are available to the common folk, the hoi polloi like us,
Mhm.
are so advanced that like you can do amazing things with very little budget if you're willing to spend the time. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
so it's a very different world than when we were making videos in the 90s and filming things like, oh, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna cut your head off in post, and then like filming it and be like, or recording it, and then sitting down to, how the hell would we do that? Like, there's no in post. This is not a
Nope.
video toaster thing.
Nope.
Like, we just recorded it and he fell over. How are we gonna make that look like he cut his head off? There's just no way. We had to go back and refilm all these scenes because we just really didn't have any idea how to like say, okay, in post.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. We clearly heard somebody say that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a famous thing to say," and then just figured it was actually true, and then learned, yeah, it's not.
Well, I think we had some vague idea of how we do it, and then realized that all we had was a vague idea of how we do it. So
Yeah, well, there was that too. A lot of that was making up on the spot. Have you seen 1,000 Beavers?
I have not.
Insane low budget film. No, 1,000 Beavers. What is that? Wait a minute, Josh. Are you trying to trick me into Googling something I shouldn't be Googling?
It's a trick.
There's hundreds of beavers. Is that it?
But not 1,000. I can't imagine 1,000.
Thousands too much, but I found hundreds of them. I think this might be it. Maybe not. I don't know what I found. Oh man, this is how you get down the dark web really fast.
Not the dark web.
Not the dark web. That is it. Okay, cool. No, I haven't seen this, but I can. Okay, just watching the trailer, yeah, I can see where we're going with this. I might check it out later. Yeah, budget. Who needs a budget?
I do. I would very much like a budget. Again,
Yeah.
if there's anyone out there with that's a producer and just wants to give me money to make a thing, I can promise to make a thing in exchange for your money.
In exchange for the money.
That's right. And
what kind of thing would you make if you were given a large, ridiculous amount of money, Dan? Like for real. Let's go into this daydream for real for a minute.
Oh, okay. In terms of actual content that I would make?
Yeah, whatever. Or let's start with the realm. I mean, okay, I'll take the obvious one. Would it be Transformers, or would it maybe be something else, you think?
No, it would not be, because all of the stories that I have to tell about Transformers, like, I've never been much for writing fan fiction or whatnot, but I've sketched out some ideas, and all of them are like very academic and boring. Like, seriously,
you're Rodimus Prime.
no, but like the idea of, okay, you have an army full of immortal, essentially, soldiers, each of whom has a specialty, and they're the only one that has that specialty. You got one scout.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's always going to be your scout forever. And what does that do to a psyche, and how do you have to be different from the way we think of people and interactions in order for that to actually work for millions of years?
Oh yeah.
See, this is why I don't make content, because it would be very boring. My Transformers fanfic would read like an encyclopedia, or like a psychological academic paper,
right?
So
writing a paper.
So I don't know. I miss Westerns, frankly. If I was to do something, I would, if I had the ability and the talent to do something, I would probably aim it that way.
Okay.
So I mean, I know they're still putting out decent Westerns, but it's been a while since I've seen one that I really liked, that really has the same, like, and I don't know, maybe it's you can't go back and recreate Shane or The Searchers or even Unforgiven. But I think that's probably where I would go.
Mm-hmm.
So Westerns are awesome.
I mean,
Westerns are great. I love a Western.
Dan, I will gently remind you that Star Trek was basically originally pitched as Western
Wagon Train in Space.
Wagon Train in Space. So
yes,
if you ever want to join our meager little productions.
Yeah, except I don't think that's actually what it is. But that's okay.
You could play Spec.
Spec, who only talks like this? This is how Spec talks.
Oh my gosh.
And he only refers to himself in the third person. And so he sounds a bit like a leprechaun. that went straight to Leprechaun very quickly. I don't know how that happened.
It did, and sadly, you're not too far off from several episodes of the third season of the original Star Trek. So, like, it could kind of fit. Yeah, it's not, or really the first season of Next Generation. Yeah, you're not too far off there.
Yeah, we try.
That's pretty cool. All right, Westerns, eh?
What about you?
I don't know. This is part of what I struggle with like, again, hearkening back to the whole, I really feel good at and enjoy editing, but then creating a story from scratch is like, it's like pulling teeth for me. It's just like incredibly hard to do, and I don't even know what to do. I can get really deep into this and say that, like, a lot of this has to do with, like, feeling disconnected from myself, and I'm learning in therapy and all this stuff. But, like, I've always said for a long, long time, you probably remember even as a kid, me saying, like, yeah, I don't really, like, know how to write stories or have stories to I don't feel like I have stories to tell. Yeah. I am learning as I'm getting older that, like, yeah, part of this is because I'm kind of disconnected from myself, and I'm figuring all that out. So, but I haven't figured it out yet. So I don't know. I'm still really enjoying helping other people tell their stories, which is great. And it's a lot of fun. I hope one day to be able to figure out a story that I want to tell. Actually, Empyrean, going back to the fan film we were talking about earlier that won some awards, that wasn't one that I told. It was our main writer / showrunner / captain, Billy, who wrote that. And but it was, what's that?
Nothing. Sorry.
But it was a story that I, like, really connected with. I could tell it was like, oh, okay, I didn't write this, but I don't mean that I could have written it in that I could have done as good of a job as him, but I could, like, really relate to it, I guess is what I'm saying. So, like, that was a lot of fun. I don't know that I still haven't figured out, like, what would I want to tell from scratch? Don't know. One of these days I'll figure it out. Something, it's always space related. I love doing stuff in space, so we'll start there, and beyond that, I don't know yet.
Well, and it's a very weird question, right? If somebody just gave you unlimited resources and said, make something, what would you make? Or not unlimited resources, but, resources to actually accomplish it.
Mm-hmm.
How would you get to a finished product?
Oh gosh, is it ever finished? Yeah.
Can the finished product be the money bin that I'm just swimming in?
You're right. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There we go. That's what I'll say. My story that I want to make is a story where I'm swimming around and lots of money and have everything I want, and it's all got to be real. None of it's green screened or anything. So yeah, we've got to set all that up and make sure it's there.
Yeah. It has to be 100 feet tall, 100 yards tall.
It's a sci-fi way of looking at things. Yeah. Catching up on some of these chats here. Let's see. I don't like getting rid of things I'll never use again, not because I feel not because I feel I ever will use them, but because I fear I will lose the memory of what they once meant to me if I don't have them anymore. Boy, do I relate to that, Newspooey. Oh man, yes. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I have a hard time getting rid of certain things, not just any old thing, but yeah, anytime there's like a memory or something associated with it, even if it's like not like a huge, not like a, you know, like a life changing memory or something like that, but if it's just something and that particular item or whatever is like worn out and a piece of crap now, it's probably still sitting around here somewhere.
Yeah. Items are invested with meaning far beyond what justifies keeping them around.
Okay, I see what was going on here now. So that was the previous one was the science fiction way of looking at things. This is the sci-fi way of looking at things. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of things because there's a curse on them, and a demon will come and try to get rid of it. Yeah, yeah, that is more of a horror kind of sci-fi thing, but I can totally see that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I need
Dan,
to go. It's late.
I was just about to say the same thing. We've hit past the hour.
That's right. I was on for 67 minutes, folks. That's a new record for time on stream. Like, it's real hard being on stage in any capacity, unless it's, karaoke, in which case it's easy. But
one of these days we should just do a live stream from the karaoke bar.
Saturday.
Except for the fact that like most of it will be just us sitting around waiting for our songs.
Yeah, it would be less exciting if it was not. We should go to one of the karaoke rooms with a group of people and do a live stream of that.
Ooh, okay, there you go.
So,
all right, yep, make it happen one of these days. No Rob coming in late. We thought he might be, but
yeah. He left us to our own devices.
Yep.
And our own devices are sad and lame.
That was Dan, this has been fun, man. Good catch.
Yeah, it has. It's been good to catch up. Thanks everybody for joining us. We as always appreciate you all joining and talking back and forth with us through the stream. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Sounds good.